Hi, I'm Aleesah Darlison and I'm the author of the League of Llamas series. That's why I'm surrounded by llamas. Do you ever think that your life is just one big giant llama pajama party? Well, I do. So I have a lot of fun with my writing, and today we're going to have a bit of fun with writing. I'm going to get you to do some writing exercises and we'll be focusing on story starters. Now, it's really important that every story starts with a great opening hook. You really want to reel your reader in right from that very first sentence. So I'm going to show you 3 different techniques you can use to create great story starters. Okay, so the first technique we're going to use to create a great story starter is onomatopoeia. Now that is quite a long word. Yes, it is a big word. There's lots of vowels in there, but don't be put off by it. It's a really simple concept. Onomatopoeia just means sound words. So a sound word is spelt the same way that it sounds. Like bang is spelt B-A-N-G. Okay, now these words, onomatopoeia words, they really bring our writing to life and they bring sound into our stories. They bring our reader into the stories as well. So we're going to do a little bit of a writing exercise now, and I would like you to write down 5 sound words. 5 sound words that you can think of. Just write them on a piece of paper. Go. So I hope you've got your 5 sound words down. If you haven't written them down already, you can pause this video and get them down on your piece of paper. Otherwise, you can have a look at this list of sound words. So you'll see there's quite a few sound words that you can use, and you can keep them in your writing bank. You can keep them in a notepad, you can keep them on a piece of paper or near your writing desk so that you can refer to them at any time. Now your next task is going to be to use those sound words in a story starter. So practicing writing a story and using sound words, either in the descriptions that you're using, as in bang, the door slammed loudly, or you could start off a story, bang, crash, boom. Sam looked out the window wondering what had made that terrible noise. So sound words really attract your reader's attention. So have a go at writing a sentence or maybe a paragraph of a story starter that includes some sound words. Our next technique for creating a great story starter is by focusing on characters. This is one of my favorite ways to start a story. And you can do this by thinking deeply about your character, maybe doing a bit of a character plan, a bit of character analysis, thinking about what their name is, their age, their height, their physical appearance, their personality, what school do they go to, where do they live, what town. So I will plan out my characters in quite a bit of depth before I bring them onto the page. That way I know who they are and I can express that in my stories. So I would like you to have a think about a character. Maybe create a name for that character. Maybe think about what they look like. What's their hair, their eyes, their height, and all those sort of things. What do they look like? Do they have freckles? Do they wear glasses? Maybe what school they go to, what they're really good at, or what's making them feel really sad or really happy. So all of those kind of things. Have a think about those things about your character and then start writing a story using that character. So you might have an example like this. Now, the last technique we're going to focus on today is setting. You can create a wonderful setting for your characters to live in and to have their adventures in. And if you've created that, maybe you want to map it out, maybe you want to draw it, some of the buildings or some of the settings, whether it's a desert, a jungle, or just a normal house and a backyard. If you've drawn that and thought about that, you can visualize it in your mind, then you can put that on the page. If you would like to do that for a setting you'd like to choose, like I mentioned, you could use a desert or a jungle or a schoolyard or a house. You can create a paragraph or two just focusing on setting. Or you might like to use one of the ones here on this list. So once you've chosen your setting, I'd like you to try to use three-dimensional writing. Now, three-dimensional writing is where we use 3 of our 5 senses to describe a scene. We do have 5 senses, that is sight, sound, touch, taste, and smell. Now, not every scene can be described with all 5 senses, and sometimes using all 5 of them is too much. But at least 3 is really a really great way to bring your reader into the story, to make it really visceral for them so they can see and hear and smell what's happening in the scene. So when you're writing, try to use at least 3 of those senses to create a scene. Here's an example that you might like to base your writing on. So that's it. There are 3 great ways to create strong story starters in your writing. These 3 techniques are onomatopoeia, focusing on character, and or focusing on setting. So have a go at those if you haven't already, and you can then use those techniques, practicing them over and over and over when you start a story, and it will really create a strong hook for your reader. Good luck with your writing, and thanks for watching.